Hello everybody, Graveyard Fog here, and yes, I know. It's been just a little bit since I've last uploaded, which we'll talk about here in a sec, but for now, today's video is going to be about the band Dracula and their latest release titled In Memoriam, and all the controversy and drama surrounding its release. So just quick history on who Dracula is before we talk about the actual release. Dracula is a heavy metal band from Tasmania, Australia, consisting of Count Hollock on bass and vocals, Will Spector on guitars, and Scott Shadows on drums. So their first release was titled Open Graves at Midnight. It consists of 4 songs, and the track listing is Intro, Castle in the Darkness, Wolves, and Possessor. And it only ever came out on cassette 3 separate times, and then a CDR that was only sold at live shows. And this is the first edition of the cassette, and the other 2 represses were color swapped, where like the logo and the title were like green on the other one and then red on the third one, something like that. And this came out in 2013, if I didn't already say that. Then the next year, in 2014, they released a 2-song set titled Black Wings Over Transylvania, and the songs on this are Black Wings Over Transylvania and The Baroness. And that's pretty much all the music that we got for that's pretty much it. But live shows, they would play a song called Taste the Whip, and then a song that they never ended up releasing that we all just knew as Untitled when they would play it. And they played a couple shows here and there, and then in 2019 they did a whole Black Wings tour is what they called it. And then after that tour was done, that was pretty much it. Just radio silence up until, I believe, 2023, whenever there were some rumblings and rumors about a new full-length coming. And I believe one time someone was like, oh, it's coming out next month or something like that. It's coming out this year. And then 2023 came and went, and 2024 came and went. And that brings us to present day 2025. So that brings us to present day 2025. And so one day, Creep Purple posted a teaser for the next release on his label, and then when the release finally did come, it ended up being Dracula. And instead of it being a new full-length with all kinds of new material, it ended up just being a compilation LP titled In Memoriam. And there it is. See the bottom, it says In Memoriam. And yeah, just a compilation LP consisting of Open Graves at Midnight and the Black Wings in Transylvania. And quickly after Creep Purple was posting about it and advertising it, quickly after, Scott Shadows, the drummer, started posting on his Instagram about how it's a bootleg and him and Will didn't authorize that at all, and it was only James, the singer, that went ahead with it anyway, even though he knew that him and Will didn't want it released, and it's a bootleg, don't support it, blah blah blah. And he also went on to say about how there was supposed to be a new album, but James just never bothered to record his parts, never recorded the vocals or bass, but a bunch of unfinished songs with just guitars and drums just sitting there on someone's computer somewhere. But yeah, he went ahead, it's a bootleg, whatever. And Will posted too on his Instagram, Heavy Chains, his record label, about how it's a bootleg, and he posted a screenshot of the email that he sent Creep Purple being like, you have no rights to use either version of the logo that I made, no rights to use any of the artwork that I drew or whatever, it's why the logo on this is like a new version where it's like all bent up, because the other 2 versions, they had no rights to use, but that's fine. But yeah, Will said it's bootleg, Scott said it's bootleg, and then also quickly right after, Creep Purple started posting too about how it's not a bootleg and how they signed a contract, but then they backed out after they got paid or something like that. I don't know, but he kept saying it's official, and then you got Scott and Will being like, it's a bootleg, only James authorized it, whatever. Just back and forth for a couple hours, continued the next day, just continued. And just a quick summary before we get to the next post, which were like the breaking point. The reason why, well, it's not confirmed, but it's pretty like everybody knows why Will pulled out because he was the one to pull out first of the deal, was because he doesn't want to be associated with Black Magic SS, which is the band that he's heavily like rumored and connected to and to play for, and he doesn't want to be associated with that, obviously. And whenever Taro, his other band, was touring again, he even made a post being like, I have no involvement with that, like, that's disgusting, like, why would anyone ever think I have involvement with that, like, that's awful. No, of course not. So obviously he really hates that he's associated with it and he's rumored to be in it. So obviously he doesn't want to be released on a label that releases Black Magic SS, so he pulled out because of that, and then Scott followed after. But that's pretty much the reason why anybody ever pulled out of it, is because Will didn't want to be associated with Black Magic SS, the Black Magic SS label. Okay, so that had to be said to make sense for this next part. So there came a breaking point where on Facebook, Dracula Facebook, which was actually deactivated, but then reactivated shortly after to advertise this new release, there was a post made that was posing as Scott, the drummer. That was pretty much, it was such a weird post. I'll put up screenshots, but it was like something about how, oh, James and Will, while they were too busy with Black Magic SS, I wasn't included, or something like that. I don't know. It was so weird. And it was sent over to Scott, and Scott was like, what the fuck? I didn't post that. Like, that's so insane. And then the post got deleted. And then James actually came onto the Facebook and made a giant post about how, like, well, I'll first say is, he said in the post, like, that wasn't Scott, it was Paul, the owner of Creep Purple, that was made admin, and then he made that post, like, out of spite or something, I don't know. But James made a giant post being like, I am the sole and only member of Black Magic SS. Will and Scott have no involvement whatsoever, basically just covering his friends' backs. And the full story, which I'll try and say from memory, but I'll put up screenshots to fill in any details I leave out. But it was pretty much like they were gonna do it, and then shortly after, Will was like, no, I don't want to do it anymore. And then Scott was going to do it still, but then he saw Will pull out and he was like, oh, I guess I'll pull out too. And then because of financial issues or medical issues, I think it was mentioned as, James went ahead with the release anyway. He knew it was bad, but he did it anyway because he needed the money. And that's pretty much it. But he was like, just stop all the fighting, and that's no future comment, and that was it.
Okay, so something I forgot to mention that seemed important enough to go back and show off is that during like the back and forth between Scott and Creep Purple changed his Instagram bio to this. And then, okay, so when Creep Purple does a new release, like a week later, whenever everything's ready to be shipped, he'll usually post a video of all the packages all together, ready to go. And for the Dracula one, he posted, he showed off the stuff, and then in the middle of like the pile of records, he has a photo of Will wearing Black Magic SS merch. Yeah.
And that was pretty much that. After James made that long Facebook post, basically saying all he had to say about that whole situation. And besides on Discards, I think, where Paul keeps checking the release as official over and over as everyone else keeps checking it as unofficial, like back and forth. But yeah, that's pretty much the story of that. If you couldn't tell already, I mean, it's titled In Memoriam because it pretty much kills the band. There's no way we're gonna get anything after this. Maybe they could reform and finish up those songs. Probably not. That's totally wishful thinking. But I think at one point, I think someone said that, like, I don't want to say Scott, don't quote me, but I think Scott might have said, like, I mean, hey, we could probably continue with a new singer. I mean, who knows? Like, I think he might have said that. I don't know. Don't quote me. But it pretty much absolutely kills the band. That's all we get, really. There might be official merch produced by Will after the fact. I mean, probably not, though. I mean, he kind of just leaves things the way they are. And like the Wizard, for example, like, he's producing merch for it now. But back whenever it was at its peak, like, there was just nothing. well, I think there was nothing, not enough. If there was, then there wasn't enough for sure. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much the story of that. So about the channel, sorry. I kind of just kept pushing it back. It was like procrastination, pretty much, where I was only gonna upload whenever I had a good enough idea, when I could think of a good enough idea. I didn't want to just push out just some slop videos every week, and then life got really busy, so I didn't really have any time to think of good ideas or even record them for that matter. So I mean, I've gotten things under control just a little bit, so I have some free time. But yeah, sorry for the almost year-long, or I think it is a year-long absence. But yeah, that's pretty much that. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope that if anyone that saw the situation and all the posts about it, hope this can clear your mind and make you not so confused about it, because I know there was a lot of people that were like, what the fuck is going on? So I hope this video is convenient to you to finally understand what's going on. It's kind of late, to be honest, but I mean, better late than never talking about this. So hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.